Yo, what's going on out there, everybody? It's your boy Willie Epting Jr. Man, the Shakeback Media Group. This is a special edition of the Ballers Report podcast because part of the Shakeback Media Group, it ain't all about sports, and you don't have to be in sports to be a baller. And this gentleman that I'm about to bring into the studio, he is a baller in so many different ways. Spiritual baller. He is an esteemed published author. He's been on the show before, and we're going to talk about his new project that's coming out. Him and his wife, his amazing wife, Sheila Turner. Of course, we got David Turner, Elder David Turner. I call him Elder T. This is a story, ladies and gentlemen, of tremendous faith, and his project deals with just that. So, without further ado, you already know what we got to do. Let's go get it. Here we go.
Right about now, you're about to be possessed by the sounds.
Yeah, I know what it is, man. You little suckers get to talking, grabbing out walking, strapped to the pong of their jaws and smacking they sleep with the coffins. And they getting greedy like saying, give me all.
Yes, sirree, buddy. You already know what it is when you hear that music. It is a special edition of the Ballers Report podcast right here on the Shakeback Media Group, powered by the SBMG. We thank you guys out there on Facebook, as well as LinkedIn, YouTube, and of course, Twitter. Yeah, almost 12 racks and followers. We appreciate all your support. Make sure you guys go out there and smash the subscribe button on the YouTube channel. Hit the bell for all brand new content. If you are on Twitter, make sure you follow us at SHKBKMEDIAGRP. That's Shakeback Media Group on Twitter, and on Instagram at Shakeback Media Group, all spelled out. Oh, and guess what? We're also on TikTok at SBMG11. Give us a follow there as well. All right. So this young man, I like to call him Elder T, but I'm going to call him David on this particular episode. I'm actually going to call him Arthur David and King David because he is a published author. He has a project that's coming out real soon. I'm going to let him get into the details about that. His amazing wife, Sheila Turner, will be joining us in the show in just a second. Let's go ahead and bring him into the studio. David Elder T. Turner. What's going on, sir?
Not a whole lot, sir. What's going on?
Oh, man, just another lovely day in the neighborhood, trying to make it through another one, man. I want to thank you and Sheila for your willingness and your heart to do this once again. You've been on the show once before. It was a blast, but things have changed between that time and now. We're going to get to a little bit of that here in just a minute. So I want to thank you once again for taking the time out of your schedule to do this.
Not a problem at all, man.
Well, so David and Sheila have been married now for how many years?
This Friday, it will be 33 years.
33 years. And that's with the same woman, ladies and gentlemen. So that just goes to show you that marriage, although it is hard, it does work. It doesn't work if you don't put in the work. Right, Dave?
Exactly. That's exactly how it works.
So tell us about the without giving away all of the trade secrets.
Oh, my.
Tell us about the marriage and how you guys have been able to sustain and maintain for so long.
Really, it's a continuous growing thing. It takes a lot more than just being together. You really have to grow together. You have to understand one another, be able to work out situations between one another, because situations will arise. They will come as quickly as you can imagine, but depending on the kind of relationship that you have, you're better apt to deal with them and deal with them on a much smoother basis. Um, and the thing about it is, it takes the both of you. You really cannot do this thing by yourself. You have to be partners. It really does have to be a partnership. And then the main thing is you have to have God in it. If he is not a part of the marriage and relationship to begin with, you will not make it. You may be able to do some things, uh, but the true blessing comes when you involve God in everything that you do. The old saying goes, "The family that prays together stays together," and that is true from from way back when. So that's how that works for us, anyway.
Yeah, and you guys are definitely an example of what to do, maybe even what not to do in a marriage. My wife and I, Patrice, we've been married now, and you were there. You were there when we got married. It'll be 10 years on July the 27th. So I can relate, although not on the same scale. Some people out there didn't think that we would make it 10 months, let alone 10 minutes or even 10 years. But I think what you said hits right on the nose when you have to have God in it. Because let me ask you this: how important is it for a couple and a spouse to love the Lord more than they love their spouse?
Well, I mean, that's just how it goes. I mean, that's what the word calls for. Uh, you're not to love anything or anyone more than you love God. It's just as simple as that. God first, then family. And then that's usually how it works out. It tends to work out just that way. If you put God first and love him with all your heart and know that the only way that you even got to this point and your spouse is only a part of your life because of God, then once you realize that, everything else falls in line. Everything else is in order because you now have everything in the order in which God intended for it to be. God first, and then your family.
Mm-hmm. Right on, and amen.
That's right.
So this your project, give the name of the project.
Well, the title of the book is called "I Am David," and the reason that that title was chosen is because I actually identify a lot with King David from the Bible, and a lot of his life coincides with a lot that goes on with my life.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how that title came about. And actually, the lovely title was given to me by my sister-in-law, Xanthia. And it's just pretty much amazing how it worked out because, again, the two lives, his and mine, really coincide one with another.
And elaborate on that a little bit, because there are people out there that do watch my shows, and they may not necessarily know who King David is. So King David, of course, is one of the fiercest, most uh, awesome, amazingest shepherds, pastors, men of the Bible from the Old Testament, and is the lineage of where Jesus Christ came from. So when you say that your life coincides with his, not getting into specifics, but more or less, because we know David was in the Bible, he was a baby basically when he rose to prominence, when he beat Goliath with the with the slingshot. And that's where the term David versus Goliath comes from. So I'm thinking that you're going to speak on that, but I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Well, really, it's not a lot to be said. I mean, there are things about David's life that are similar to things in my life. And, it's really kind of awesome how it works out. The things that, some of the things that he did and went through, as opposed to some of the things that I went through or still, go through. David was considered a man after God's own heart. And so that's one of the things that I try to apply to my own life. I want to be a man after God's own heart. And, with that being said, a lot of times, people took advantage of, or not really so much advantage of, they didn't really realize the potential of young David. And I think that really happens with me, especially with my current situation, with me, with my illness, with my blindness. It's a lot of people that don't really realize my full potential. And so just like David then, they wanted to put him in a position on the back burner because they really didn't feel that he could handle a lot of things. And the same thing goes with me. Because of my current situations, a lot of people don't believe that there are things that I can accomplish, one of the reasons why I do a lot of the things that I do on video, because I want to show people that, yes, I can still do things, and that I'm not, just because of my situation, I might be blind and ill sometimes, but I'm not handicapped. I can still handle a lot of things. And so one of the things that David did, he encouraged not only himself in the Lord, but he encouraged a lot of people. And that's my life in general. I want to be able to encourage and inspire others so that they may come to Christ. That's what all of this is about. God gets the full glory from my life, and that's what I want to happen. That's what I want to see from this project.
All right, so let's get into the project. The name of the book again is
I Am David,
and it is birthed in your spirit and in your heart from what you just described as your life. And I wish I had a picture of it. Unfortunately, I do not I do not have a picture of it in the studio. I'm going to see if I can put it on the screen for people out there that's watching. It basically, it says, I am David, by faith, not by sight. And for everybody out there watching, if you can see that, that's what it is. That's on my phone. I am David, by faith, not by sight. And before we actually get to that part of it, there is something that I want to play, because I think this has a lot to do with where you are in terms of the exposure, the notoriety, and even people being encouraged from your journey. So I have something that I'm going to play for the audience, and this is amazing in itself. And if you have not seen this, ladies and gentlemen, before now, it is not a Shakeback exclusive. However, it is courtesy of Elder Music Man. Is it Elder David Music Man or just Elder Music Man?
Elder Music Man.
Elder Music Man on Instagram. So here it is right here.
Yeah. Hey, you think you can drive home? We're giving you the keys. I don't need you to give me the key. I got my own key. Huh? Right here. All right.
So I don't think I have to tell you what that's from, do I?
No.
So describe for everybody out there that may not have seen this before, or even if they have seen it before and just need another refresher. Describe what was going on at that moment from the beginning of the hollering until the end.
The hollering. Actually, it's quite simple. We were just over at family members' home for the holiday, and I'm the type of person I really don't. I don't really get out and do a whole lot with everyone because I feel like I'm, kind of holding everybody back from having fun. So everybody was out in the front yard just shooting basketball. They were, out there having a good time. And I actually was in the house and they came in several times and finally convinced me to come out and, kind of join them and, just have a good time with them. And I went out and they basically, dared me. They said, we want to see what you can do. And I don't really like turning down challenges simply because, number one, I want to prove to myself that I can do it. And then it doesn't hurt to prove them wrong. Mm-hmm. And so they lined me up and told me which way to shoot. I think you can hear my nephew in the background telling me, shoot toward his voice. And that's what I did. And that's what happened. And I was thinking that the reason it went viral was because I made the shot. I come out to find out later, the reason it went viral is because everybody hollered and screamed and went nuts. And so that's kind of cool all in itself. People down the street, several houses down, came outside to see what was going on because they thought it was a fight in the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. But it was pretty awesome. And so that's how that came about.
Yeah. And that was what, 2000 and was it 2 years ago or 3?
2019.
4 years ago. A lot of kids have graduated from high school since then. A lot of kids have graduated from college since then, to include your nephew who was actually telling you to shoot towards his voice.
Exactly.
Wow, that is crazy. Do I hear Sheila there in the background?
Yeah, she's right here.
Get her on the screen, Sheila. Come on here on the screen and talk to the people real quick. There she is, the amazing Sheila Turner. Sheila is I don't even have. She's a Proverbs 31 through and through.
Thank you.
So as your husband was telling the story, what's kind of going through your head in terms of how we got to this point?
Well, as he what the story of which story he was talking about, the shot or the other story? The story, the shot of the story of the shot. I almost said the shot of the story. Okay. The story of the shot, and then how it led to the book, and then and where we are today. Okay, so with the story of the shot, it was awesome. God is God, and so I think it happened because God. I think God was saying to him, "I see you, David. You're not forgotten about," because He used him. It could have been anybody He used, but He used David to be the one. And another thing is He knew David wasn't going to get the big head because he's not that type of person. And so all the glory went to God, and it was all about God. He saw that as inspiration to other people. And when people were saying that, oh, you blessed me and this and that, it just made such a big difference. And I thank God for doing that because it encouraged my husband as well, as he encouraged other people. So I had prayed and asked God to wire my husband in some type of way. And that happened. I was like, okay, God, you hear my prayers. And so, I'm just so grateful that he got the opportunity to do that, and around family. And it was just a family occasion that was going on. And when we get together about a lot of things, we have a big family, and we always throwing things, and everybody's always supporting everybody. And they were genuinely happy, that he made that shot. And so they were celebrating him. And by them celebrating him, a lot of people were talking about, wow, look at that family support. We weren't thinking anything about that. We were just doing things that we always do. And so that was a blessing in itself with that particular basketball shot. And people are really still talking about it.
Yeah.
Just like even so many people shared it. Britney Spears, she even shared it when she was going through. And she put her title, she said, even this man's family supports him. And that's when she was going through whatever with her dad. And so she had millions of views as well with even saying that. So it was a blessing that we were able to bless others.
And shout out to the turnips or the turners. I'm sorry. The turn down for what? Shout out to the Turners and the Morgans and the James and everybody else that's involved. That was involved with that. So let's get to the book, because that's why we're here.
Yes.
David, I am David. Let's talk about without giving away the contents. What is the book about? What was where was the motivation behind getting the book done? And then, of course, when is it coming out?
Well, the book is about, like I said earlier, the combination of lives between mine and King David, and how they really pan out to be really similar. And so that is the book really is a telltale story of my life and how I got to where I am today. And then, of course, without going into great detail, because I've been sick, because I lost my sight, people kept telling me, we would like to hear a little bit about your story, or you should take time out and tell your story. Let others see, what you went through to get to where you are today. And so it's really just that. I just kind of took a little bit of time to tell my story of, some of the trials that I went through with illness, and tell a little bit about the illness itself. And then some of the things that I went through when I lost my sight. And then, some of the things that, were going through my mind as a result of losing my sight. And then, it kind of goes a little bit into my background, not a whole lot. But then finally it ends kind of explaining how we developed our organization, By Faith Not Sight, and how it came about from, everything that happened with me, and what we want to see happen with, people that we work with through the organization. And so that's basically all it is. Because again, the lives of the two, my life along with King David's, I think that once people see the comparison, they'll understand a little bit more about me and where I come from, and what I'm trying to accomplish, what I'm trying to see God work through me, and where I would like God to take us from this point. And so, yeah, that's basically what it is.
All right. Once again, this is I'm with one of the royal families of the planet, David and
Ooh, I'm gonna get it.
David and Sheila Turner. I mean, look, this is an amazing family, amazing couple. They are from Monroe and Grambling, respectively. We know a lot of the same people, and it's funny that it's so funny how big the world is, but then how small it is at the same time. Because I didn't know any of you guys during any of my time in Monroe, but then we end up at Antioch Christian Church in Irving, Texas, on Walnut Hill Lane.
Yes.
On a Sunday where I visited, and that was 13 years ago. And now here we are talking about a book by a man who lost his sight after making a basketball shot and everything else that has happened in this young man's life. Truly an inspiration. I thank you for being a part of our lives. You guys have blessed our family in ways in which you do not understand. You guys are amazing prayer warriors, intercessory prayer team leaders. I'm thankful and grateful to be on that, in the trenches with you guys on that. The book itself, I have a picture of the book that I am going to put on the screen. And for everybody out there that's watching, here we go. Here it is. It's the official book launch and 33rd wedding anniversary honoring David and Sheila Turner. I Am David, by faith, not by sight. Written by David Turner, July 1st, this Saturday from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. at the Grand Prairie Chamber of Commerce, 900 Conover Drive in Grand Prairie, Texas. And make sure you guys get out there. The book will be, he will be out there, or you'll be out there Saturday, of course, and you will have some books on hand. Is that correct?
Yes, we'll be signing.
And so it's going, obviously it's a book signing, so he's going to have the books there. It's not like he's going to have a book signing, but he's going to have a newspaper there from Monroe. That's not what it is. It will be his book that will be signed, and also the book will be available where else?
Actually, it will be available later on Amazon, not right away, but we will be getting it out on Amazon as well.
All right. I think that's all I got. Y'all, I need both of y'all, and you can choose which one goes first. You know what? Let me pick from a wife's standpoint. Sheila, I need you to give some encouraging words to any wife out there that may be thinking that they're facing a challenge, but then everything that you and David have talked about and gone through, particularly over the last few years with this, how can you encourage them with some words now?
What I do want to say is, before we got married, we were in counseling. You know, you have marriage counseling and all that type of thing. And so during the counseling, our pastor they told us about the vows, and then they asked, were we willing to, we still want to get married? We was like, yeah. So we understood the vows. So by me understanding the vows, and it came to pass as far as my husband's sickness. I said through sickness or health, okay? And so he got sick. So, hey, I stood before God and before people and said, we're going to stay together through sickness or through health. And the health challenges came, and we stayed together. And I just want to encourage people to just be there for that spouse. It could be the man, could be the woman, whomever it is. Just be there for that spouse. It makes such a big difference for families to support each other. You know, your husband, as long as you're on his side, he can do anything. But once you're going against him, it makes things so much worse. So I just encourage women to just continue to be there for your spouse, and prayer makes a difference. So we pray together, we read together, we do things together. We know that God ordained our marriage, and we know he's with us, and in his word, he said he will never leave us nor forsake us. So we take him at his word. We go to him. Now, sometimes, you know, we have these intense fellowships and things like that. But we know we have to go to God. And sometimes I tell God, I'm like, now, God, you created him. You know how to fix it. You know how to fix this situation. You created this man. He's one of yours, you know. And so, but that's why I just want to encourage women to just enjoy their spouses. Even if there's not an issue going on, have fun, do things, because you just never know what could happen. So I encourage you to just be there for each other, have fun with each other, talk to each other. Communication is the key. Please just continue to communicate. And that's what I would like to say.
Well, David, I don't know if you can say anything else that you've already said to encourage anybody out there, but I'm gonna let you try anyway, because you being here on this screen, and something that I gotta say, because you know I gotta poke fun at you. That's just what we do. So everybody knows the story. You know, you've lost your sight, but in off air, you asked me. I just need to make sure that I'm looking straight. I just think keep your head up, keep your head straight. So that is encouragement in itself. So is there anything else that you want to add to your plethora of wisdom for people out there that's watching and ultimately will be listening on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts?
Just a couple of tidbits. If you fall down, just remember, if you can look up, you can get up. Number two, just remember you can do all things through Christ, which strengthen you by faith and not by sight. Number three, always remember and never forget, put God first. I mean, it doesn't matter what you do, as long as you do it for the glorification of God, all things will work out. And then finally, instead of crying about your situation, and instead of always saying, woe is me, or why me, turn that around and say, why not me? Why shouldn't I be the one to go through this? Maybe there's something in this that's not meant just for me, but meant for someone else as well. Give God the glory, and he will provide the answer for you. He'll show you in ways that you'll never, ever imagine. Just give him the glory.
Well, amen, amen, amen. And we actually have a comment from, look at that, wifeability.tv. Hello, this is Adrienne E. Bell, the publisher of the book. Congratulations to the Turners. So there you go.
And give a shout out to her and many, 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 many thank yous for all that she's done in the development of this whole project. You wouldn't believe the amount of work that they put in to help us get this going. They are amazing.
Out of Houston.
Yes, and their company and everything that they do has been a tremendous blessing to us.
I actually, Adrienne, if you're still watching, I actually need to see if I can get in contact with you for some things as well. So I could see the blessings flowing and coming down and being on top of each other, all through a God that knows everything, sees everything, and is everything. And speaking of everything, that is going to wrap it up for this edition of the Ballers Report podcast. We want to thank Sheila Turner and, of course, David Turner for their participation and with their hearts and willingness to do this. Let me offer my congratulations on the publishing of the book. I look forward to reading it, and I'm sure it's going to be a hit all over the place. So, with that being said, we are going to get up out of here. Y'all take care. Y'all hug each other. Y'all love each other. Y'all stay tight. I promise everything's going to be all right. And I promise I'm not a rapper, but that's just what it is. Ballers Report Podcast, Willie Epstein Jr., Shakeback Media Group. We'll house y'all again real soon. Peace. We out.